Welcome to another episode of Candid Convos. Today's guest is Christina Álvarez. You know, she made her way up from paralegal to certified legal intern for the Department of Children and Families while she was at law school, to a practicing law firm attorney with her Juris Doctor. So she's also known, or you're also known, Christina, for your compassion and your empathy. I'm very happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Joe. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for that wonderful intro.
Well, I gotta ask, I'm interested. One of the goals of this podcast is to understand the growth path an attorney can have and the way that they reach success in your very own particular way. So this is also helpful for every other lawyer that's listening and out there, and everyone that's also an aspiring lawyer. I want to ask, at the beginning of your journey, you worked as a paralegal, right? So
Yes.
what can you tell us about those days?
So my first job was actually as a file clerk at a huge personal injury firm here in Orlando. And I had no lawyers in my family. I had never met another lawyer. So that was very intimidating for me, as a young girl, going into that situation. But I can tell you from the moment that I got there, my first day of work, I immediately knew that this was the career path for me, and that's what I was going to do. I didn't necessarily, think I was going to just shoot right to law school. And that's not the path that I took. I actually was a paralegal for about 4 years before I attended law school. But, for me, I learned so much, right? I learned so much about how to conduct business because I did end up working for a solo lawyer. And I was tasked with having clients sign retainer agreements, how to talk to clients on the phone. I handled some of the accounting sometimes. So I basically got thrown into everything, and I just soaked up as much as I could and learned as much as I could, because eventually I did think I wanted to open my own practice. I wasn't planning to do it right out of law school, but that's just what happened. But somewhere down the road, I did go to law school with the thought in mind that I would have my own practice one day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand that. Like sometimes, well, not sometimes, whenever you plan for something, things never go according to what you plan.
No.
And sometimes life throws you at this situation where you got to run before you can crawl. So
Yes.
I'm happy that that happened to you. Was it exciting, or was it just like pressure what pushed you over to the edge?
Pressure in what sense?
I don't know, like pressuring yourself and wanting to become more successful, or did the path sort of like unfold right in front of you and you said, okay, let's grab this opportunity?
So, I loved being a paralegal, and I was very, very good at it. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I know that I was good at it because they would literally like leave me for weeks on end sometimes by myself, and I was like managing everything just fine. And people could rely on me. They knew that my work was getting done. They knew I was good with the clients. For me, it got to the point where I was like, wow, I'm going to court with the lawyer. I'm helping him prepare his cases. Sometimes he would ask me what to do. And I was like, well, I feel like for me at this point, I've gotten everything I could out of this opportunity. And now I wanted to be able to represent my clients directly, right? Like I was like, if I can do this for another attorney, I can do this for myself. And be able to actually go to court for clients and speak on their behalf. As a paralegal, you cannot do that. So I just felt at that point I had gotten everything out of it and I wanted to go further. And I did want to become a lawyer. So that was my dream since I was 10 years old, actually. I joke around, I had a law firm when I was 10 years old. I had this teacher in the 5th grade who encouraged the students to basically like perform a job, and she would give us tickets, which was like the currency to perform that job, and then we could go buy things at the store that she had created. And so for me, I was like, well, I'm going to be a lawyer. And so I had my own little law firm and I represented my classmates. Yeah, and they gave me their tickets, and then I would take my tickets and go to the store and buy myself things. So I've always wanted to be an attorney. That's always been my goal. Again, I didn't get there as fast as I would have liked, right? Because I did take some time off, but I think in the long run, that was what was best for my path. Because when I did get to law school, I had already been working in the law practice. So I knew for me, that's where I wanted to be. It wasn't a question of, am I going to be right for this? Am I going to like this? Because I already had that experience.
That's the takeaway from all of this, like you got to do what means something to you, what's important for you, and it will work as long as
Yeah.
you're good at what you do. Because also the way that you select clients is, or the way that you filter your clients, I don't know if I'm doing justice using those terms, but one way or another, you're also finding out who you work best with. And that makes a lot of sense. Like if you notice it's going to be a very big struggle, so hey, let me refer you to someone else. I don't think we're going to be a good fit because I know my law firm, I know my practice, and I know myself. So I
Right.
also think it's very smart. You don't damage your reputation that way. You take on what you know you can solve. So kudos for that. That's amazing. Now, you've mentioned your staff more than once. I am curious about growth journey and staff. Uh, do you remember in which way you started acquiring other talent in order to join your ranks?
Yes. So I always started with the paralegal first.
Mhm.
So at one point it was me and I had a contract paralegal. So she wasn't a W-2 employee. She was just, helping me when she could. But it got to the point where, I was working 24/7, right? I was working during the week. And then on the weekends, I was also working because that's when she was available. So, once it got to the point where I was like, okay, I can't continue to burn myself out like this. I decided to bring on actual receptionist. I had a receptionist in my office and legal assistant. And then from there, I started to build the practice. So right now, I have the legal assistant who answers the phone as well through Get Stuffed Up, who is amazing. She's been working with me for about a year, and the difference from having a live person answer your phone to having like an automated service answer your phone is night and day. I can tell you that I will never go back to having an automated service answer my phone. It's very, very important to me that I have that live person because, like I said, I deliver a certain quality of customer service to my clients, and I want them to have that customer service as soon as the phone gets picked up. And so that's been super amazing for the growth of my firm. And then from there, I've added on a full-time paralegal who has 20 years of experience, and, and she's a very high quality professional. And then also have an of counsel attorney who does help me with hearings and things and overflow. So little by little, I didn't do it all at one time, right? Because that can be very overwhelming. But I think what happens with a lot of solo practitioners is they think if I hire somebody, I'm going to be living under a bridge. How am I going to support myself and my family?
Mhm.
And if you structure it the right way, it actually helps you attain your goals and make more money because you can't do everything, right? So there's some days where, I'm working on the business. There's some days where I do have to do legal work. If I don't have my time to be freed up to work on my business isn't going to go anywhere. It's going to just stall out. And that's not the goal that I have for myself. So I've realized very early on that bringing on help and delegating actually frees me up to do things that are important for the business to go forward.
Mhm. Now, recently I saw something, and this is mainly because of what you're saying. Like, you got to bring on more people in order to grow. Like, this is kind of
Yes.
obvious, but at the same time, I know that this is very daunting, especially for lawyers that are making their way from true solo, which sometimes they use that as sort of like a badge of honor. And I understand.
Yes.
I remember a corporate lawyer that he wants to do everything by himself, take on the phones, take on the emails, and like one billable hour creates a huge amount of administrative work. So he likes doing that, but he is very limited. And that's very respectful because as many times as people tell him, brother, you need a virtual assistant or you need a paralegal or you're going to malpractice, you need another lawyer. He stays there and he says, I'm taking it in as much as I can get and I won't take anything else. I will avoid malpractice. But being a true solo that is wanting to grow and not having people with you, that kind of also means being truly alone. And
Yes.
I've noticed that that first hire is again, a very daunting one because you start looking at how much it's going to cost you
Mhm.
versus how much you're actually making. And the fear of, I'm not going to be able to get it next month. But then if you do the math, if you start getting one extra free hour a day, you can double your billable hours, which is, I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds, but If you know how to make it rain inside your
Mhm.
firm, then that's something that you can do. So delegating is a way to grow.
Yes.
Um, I believe this is, well, a clear example of also how you've done it, the way that you did it as well. But I'm wondering if you had the chance, or not that if you had the chance, what was the main difference for you having someone that's completely virtual, completely offshore,
Mhm.
not someone that's in house,
Mhm.
perform this for you versus someone that could have been recruited stateside?
Well, for me, I decided to go hybrid in 2020. So I do have a physical office location in downtown Orlando. I am usually there 2 times during the week. And for me, I felt like the pandemic really shifted the way that we provide legal services now to the clients. It's funny because now the clients are very much like, can we do this by Zoom? Like, I don't want to come to your office. Nobody wants to drive all the way to my office and take off time off work. And so the pandemic really did shift the way that people view the law office and how, we interact and do business with the clients. So I felt like for me, it was a fit to have somebody virtual because it fit into the model of my hybrid firm. And I am so I like systems. And so I had already built all of these systems to have everything online before the pandemic even happened, right? So it's funny because I had other lawyers, friends of mine, that scrambling, freaking out, right? How am I going to do business? I don't have anything in place. And I was like, well, I already have everything pretty much online. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to shift it all over 100% to online. And so I already had built the systems for this virtual assistant. So it was a very seamless transition. And again, I had used a reception service before I had the legal assistant receptionist answer the phone from Get Staffed Up. And I was doing the numbers, and I just remember thinking, man, I'm just throwing money out the window. I might as well just take a wad of cash and just throw it right out the window because that's what I was doing. I was losing leads. The appointments weren't getting scheduled correctly. And I know people are like, yes, you can train them and give them scripts and do all these things. I didn't feel like that worked for my firm. And so the virtual assistant has fit very, very well into our practice.
I got one more thing to ask in there because I want to be very mindful of your time, but hey, we're in there. This is sort of like feedback for us as well, so it's important. We run something that's our culture index survey. We try to find someone that will match with you. So it allows us to create some sort of like a blueprint of what personality works best with the people that you're looking for. Would you say your virtual assistant was a good fit culture wise or personality wise with you?
Yes. So I interviewed two different people, and I remember seeing her videotape, and I remember thinking, I love her personality. She's so positive and she's so bubbly and she's so happy. And that's the person that I want talking to my clients when they first call in, or potential clients, because that first call really says a lot about your firm. And if that person is answering the phone with that kind of positive attitude and personality, then that's attracting the clients that I want to work with. And they're understanding that we provide that compassion, that level of enthusiasm, of positivity. And so I really wanted somebody with those characteristics. But she also was a travel agent. And what happened during the pandemic was she was let go. But before that, she was fielding calls of angry clients wanting refunds. And I thought, this is an amazing skill, because I can only imagine the kinds of calls that she was getting, and to have patience and not, just freak out, right? And to have that kind of skill to talk people down off the ledge, that's what I needed to.
Yeah.
Plus, coupled with her sales background, because, when people schedule intake calls, it's a sales conversation sometimes. You're trying to convince them, persuade them to schedule that consult with your firm versus the 100 other firms that they could go with. And so I liked that she had sales background as well. And she's also bilingual. So it was a great culture fit. Like I said, she's been with me a year. And I'm trying to put a path to growth for her, because she can do so much more than just answer the phone. And she does so much more than just answer the phone for me. But she definitely is a great cultural fit for my firm. And she's always so happy and bubbly, and it makes me happy. So it's infectious, her personality.
It strikes me like it was also a good fit because of the type of law firm that you run.
Yes.
You bring everybody on board. And I think that's important for virtual staffing or in-house staffing, any type of staffing. If you want someone to become a team member, you got to instruct them in how you do things. First, it's got to be a good match, right? And
Yeah.
then they got to understand the way that you want to present things. So like you were talking about, your core values, someone that's able to live with that and to work with that because they believe in that. So you're able to leave a very big dent on everything that you do and society out there, which is also kind of like the goal here. What I was looking, the reason why I felt very nervous, I got to be honest in this interview, I felt nervous because I wasn't going to interview you. And this happens with me, to me, with other lawyers as well. Like you have a very big personality. And again, I admire you a lot. So knowing that you have had that path and that you're able to grow the way that you did, and more than that, that the goals that you aspire to. I got one final question for you.
Okay.
So, what impact do you think your firm has had in your community, and is your remote workers and in-house workers on board with that same calling or cause as well?
So I think with my staff, I've created a firm where minorities, specifically young minorities, because most of us are young, have a voice and feel like they are validated and feel like they are a part of the legal profession, because the legal profession can feel very exclusive sometimes for minorities, for young professionals. And I think my firm gives them that space and that voice to feel confident that, like you said, they're living out their goals, but they're helping me attain the firm goals as well. And I feel like I give them that team environment, so that they feel like we're getting to a bigger place than just our goals, right? Because it's about something bigger than just me and my firm and my clients. And so I feel like my firm gives that space for them. And I feel like with the community, I am showing clients and the community that there's a different way to run a law firm and practice law. It does not have to be all about the big law firm and the million billable hours and the, like I said before, the black suit and the courthouse and the mean looking faces. There's a different kind of law firm. And I feel like I've built that law firm to serve the client that wants something different. So I joke around sometimes. I'm like, if you want to go to the big law firm with the black suits and the dusty files, you can go do that. That can be for you. And that's for some people, but
Yeah,
that's not how we do things, So if you're looking to have a compassionate attorney, compassionate staff, somebody who maybe is creative, like I said, do things out of the box sometimes, then that's the attorney for you. And so I think that's the impact it's had so far.
that's a very strong pitch, by the way. That is a very strong pitch. Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
They're like,
Christina,
what? I'm like,
yeah,
yeah.
but it really works. So, because you stand out, and for someone that's looking for a law firm or someone that represents you, that you're able to connect with them and stand out at the same time, it's going to be a perfect fit. It makes sense to me. So, of course, it makes sense to your clients as well. Um, Christina, I want to be very mindful of your time. We just ran out of it. These conversations, I can take them 2 or 3 hours long, honestly. But I know you got to get a lot back to. So I want to thank you for everything that you've done. I want to thank you for also your kind words and the work that you put out there. And just leave with one final thing. Please let people know where they can find you and what you can do for them.
So I'm on Instagram, C Alvarez Law, also on Facebook, same thing, C Alvarez Law. And then I have my website, www.calvarezlaw.com. And then I also have a TikTok that I just recently started, so I'm getting into that. It's Family Lawyer Christina. So please be on the lookout for that, because I'm going to start rolling out some content here soon. I'm really super excited about that.
Best of luck with that. TikTok is still
Thank
the
you.
dominant platform today, and I know you're going to do great. There's some amazing influencer lawyers out there. If you become one, I'm going to ring back to you because I'm going to work with you. Okay.
We're manifesting that here today. That's
Yes,
what's going to happen.
it will. I'm sure it will. Christina, thank you very much. Guys, see you in the next episode of Candid Convos.